What is up, everyone? How's it going? This is Waj. Hope you guys are all doing well. And now what you're looking at is 3 mice from Corsair. Now, Corsair is launching these mice just a day before the start of CES on the 7th of January. Now, we've been testing these mice for the past couple of days, and I want to just give you my initial response and overview of what we have over here. First things first is the Harpoon RGB Wireless. Now, this is using Corsair's own Slipstream 2.4 GHz wireless technology that should deliver sub 1 millisecond response time in terms of latency. You can also use Bluetooth 4.1 for better battery life, as well as wired mode if you want to charge the built-in 850 milliamp hour battery. Now inside we're using the PMW33254 10,000 DPI optical sensor. The mouse's design is quite compact and it's ideal for claw or fingertip use. It's a little bit too small for my personal hands, but some people do like a smaller mouse. It's also fairly lightweight at around 100 grams. The button placement is fair overall. I'm just not a big fan of the forward and back side mounted buttons. They're placed a little bit too low for my personal liking. The left-right buttons have a force rating around 60 grams and the actuation distance is around 0.45 millimeters. Now lastly, when it comes to battery life specifically, you're looking around 45 hours with the Slipstream mode on. That's the fast 2.4 gigahertz frequency, and you have the RGB lighting off. In the same exact scenario, you're looking about 60 hours in Bluetooth mode. Now, the difference between Slipstream and Bluetooth for most users, including myself, is pretty much imperceivable, but the way that I use it just to make sure that I'm getting the best performance possible is when I'm playing a game, I actually enable the Slipstream mode, and when I'm just browsing the internet using my computer for general purpose, I use it on wireless Bluetooth. I think that's pretty much a good way to use this mouse. Now moving forward, let's talk about the new Corsair M65 RGB Elite. Now this is basically replacing the M65 RGB Pro that got launched a couple of years ago. Now I've been using the M65 and the M40 for years upon years. In fact, my original M40 has been with me since 2014. That's almost 5 years of usage. And honestly, I think the M65 is an awesome FPS mouse, specifically with that dedicated sniper button, which allows you to downshift your DPI settings for better overall precision. And this button has been tweaked quite a bit since the previous gen, so it's a little bit larger and it's moved a little bit forward for better accessibility. The new mouse is also about 15% lighter than the previous generation. When you have all the weights deloaded, it weighs around 100 grams. And with all the weights, I actually prefer a heavier mouse. It weighs around 120 grams, which is just perfect for me. Furthermore, there's some minor and major improvements in terms of the mouse design. You could see that there's exposed anodized aluminum frame on the side, which definitely looks pretty sweet. Furthermore, the buttons on the side and top of the mouse are now larger and more chunkier, which definitely makes it a little bit more accessible and better for overall ergonomics, especially if you have larger hands like myself. Now, the sensor has also been beefed up quite a bit. You have a native resolution of 18,000 DPI compared to 12,000 on the previous generation. Furthermore, you have 1 DPI at a time incremental controls over your sensitivity adjustments, and your total range is all the way down to 100, now to 18,000. Most people are not going to use 18,000 as a real DPI setting, but it's there if any crazy person wants to do it. Now lastly, we have the IRONCLAW RGB. It's pretty much internally very similar to the M65 Elite. So we have the same configuration for the 7 customization buttons, the same optical sensor inside, but it's much larger and more cushion for the push-in, which I'm definitely a big fan of. This mouse is optimized for larger hands and particularly people who like to palm grip their mouse. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't test this mouse specifically because it is an early prototype and it arrived dead on arrival, but Corsair is going to fix that by hopefully setting a new version so we can come back to you guys on the performance of this thing, but it's going to be very similar to, again, what we're going to find with the M65 Elite, just a different ergonomics. Now, we're going to have more things coming up with our CES coverage, so definitely follow our channel if you haven't already. I want to thank you guys so much for watching in the meantime. Thanks for liking our video, supporting our channel. I'm going to see you real soon. Take care.